Prabhupada. श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। So we'll continue our study on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are in third canto, 16th chapter, almost ending section. So we'll offer prayers and then we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalaakaja Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamala Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Now we continue our section on third canto, 16th chapter. Now let us see these sections. So in this chapter of where doorkeepers Jay and Vijay were cursed by the four Kumaras, after describing in the Vaikuntha, the description of Vaikuntha, Brahmaji coming to the essence of the question asked by Devatas, why at all the situation arose in this universe? What is the cause? For that, Lord Brahma is replying here. In the last chapter, he described about the whole Vaikuntha, and then now he is coming to the root cause. So we have seen the section where Kumaras cursed them, and now Lord appeared on the gate, and Lord apologized in different ways. And then the response of Kumaras we have seen. And now is Lord reconciling the situation, whole situation is pacifying them, the Kumaras. So this is all my will only. It's happening. So in that section we are there 26th, we complete 27th to 37th, we will see. And mostly we will try to complete the next chapter also, because it's very small chapter, not very big. In that sense of commentation is also very less by Prabhupada and Acharyas. So here how the Kumaras cursed the sages and the Jai Vijay. How Jai Vijay goes down to the material planets. Till that point is spoken here. From 17th chapter, 17th is the birth of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. And then how the influence, the birth and influence is spoken in 17th. In the 18th, we will see the fight between the Hiranyaksha and Lord Varahadev. The 18th is spoken, the fight. And death of Hiranyaksha is spoken in 19th chapter. So that's all these. These are all part of third canto, where we are seeing third and fourth cantos are the topics of Visarga is spoken. Second canto is Sarga. Third and fourth are Visarga. Fifth is Sthanam. So that's all the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are seeing the Visarga, third and fourth cantos. In that, Swayambhamanu, how he is Brahmaji is creating. Now Brahmaji has to create. So in that, Swayambhamanu was created. So when Swayambhamanu was created, Swayambhamanu Shatrupa, and when Swayambhamanu asked, where is my service place? Where is my area to serve? So then the earth was not seen. So Brahmaji was also taken aback. Where is the earth? So that's so the series of Varaha pastime started to locate the where is the earth. So that's how this section started with I think 13, 14 chapters we started with. And then Brahmaji is continuing the section where Devatas approach the cause of the darkness in the planet. Of course, the creation aspects continues later on. How Brahmaji creates. Visarga will continue further chapters later on. But here in this section, we are seeing how Lord Varaha pastime, where Swami asked, where is the earth? So Brahmaji is trying to see by his visions and where is the earth on the Patala, and how he, from his nostrils, Lord Varaha comes, and all these pastimes we are seeing at Varaha pastimes. So on the part of that only, this Varaha pastimes. Two kinds of Varahate we will see in the next chapter initially, how two Varahas are described here. But on the part of that only, these things are happening, these events are happening. So here, of course, the root cause explained in the 13th chapter, 14th chapter, Diti's pregnancy, and then it caused the whole creation, the troublesome in the whole creation itself. And that's how the seed root cause is also explained in 13, 14 chapters. And then it continuing now, Varahadev appearing and replacing the earth on the orbit, and it's in its place, in her place, so that Swayambhavanu can continue the ruling, etc. So though in that aspect, these events are explained. So in that, Kumaras cursed the Jai Vijay are now going to coming down to the earth planets, Matyaloka. So we will continue that section, last section. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yetau Suretaragatim Pratipadya Sadya Samramba Sambrita Samadya Anubadda Yogau Bhuya Sakasham Upayasyata Asuyoga Shapo Mayaiva Nimitas Tadaveta Vipraha. Please read translation.
The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in a demoniac family. But they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration, intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly.
So this is inflicted on them, was originally ordained by me, it's because of me only. So Prabhupada explains how. So we have seen these verses. We are from 27th only. We need to start now. 26th. 26th we completed. Yeah. 26th we completed. 27th we need to start. Yeah, the section starts from here. So 26 to 32, Lord is reconciling the situation after Kumara's replying. He said we have seen last time this purport also. Punishment is all my plan. So, but they will definitely return to back. Don't worry too much. So Prabhupada explains the principle: without Lord's sanction, nothing can happen. So conclusion is that no one falls from spiritual world or Vaikuntha, but sometimes Lord desires devotees come to in spiritual world as spiritual. Of course, we have seen the purport from the famous purport by Vishnu Thakur, where we have seen the essence of the whole chapter, the whole incident itself. We have seen the narration, beautiful narration, that Mahad Aparadat, because of the great offense to the devotees, even from Vaikuntha, even Siddhas, Parama can can come down. What to speak of the sadhakas who are trying to do sadhana abhas in this Martyaloka. So savadhan, savadhan. So just to give a warning, Krishna Thakur is giving the essence of the whole topic itself there. Okay. 27. Brahma Uvacha Atate Manayo Drashtva Nayananandabhajanam Vaikuntam Tatatishtanam Vikuntam Cha Swayam Prabham. Read translation.
Lord Brahma said, after seeing the Lord of Vaikuntha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the self illuminated Vaikuntha planet, the sages left that transcendental abode.
Yeah, now the sages departed from that place, explaining about the glory of, or the place the Vaikuntha is glorified here. Prabhupada explains that Vikuntam cha Swayam Prabham, how that spiritual planet is glorified. Read the underline.
The, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha never returned to the material world, but the incident of Jaya and Vijay was a different case. They came to the material world for some time and then they returned to Vaikuntha.
So, of course, Prabhupada glorifies the Vikuntam Swayam Prabham, the glorification of the Vaikuntha. I think Vishnu Jagatar explains one more point, very beautiful point. I think it will come in 29th verse. And we will see that point where when we are saying that Jai Vijay came, what exactly it means? Whether they came here, he reconciles in the sense of expansion wise. We will see that one. When Prabhupada is saying they came to the material world for some time and then they returned to Vaikuntha. Now, Prabhupada maintains, of course, as we discussed, as we know that everyone belongs to Supreme Lord. Amavancha Jivaloke, Jivavata Sanatana. We all belong to Supreme Lord, but because of having a desire to enjoy independently, we come here to enjoy just like a boy or children want to be separated. They want to live separately or independently of the parents. So that we all know the different examples, understandings. But Yadgatvana Nivartante, that's generally a principle also. That once, that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Once we return to Vaikuntha, never returns to the material world. But Prabhupada many times emphasizes that free will is still there, that with a living entity, if he wants enjoy separately, independently, it has that choice will be there with the living entity. Okay, so now Jai Vijay are coming down. Bhagavantam parikramya pranipatyanu manya cha pranipatyanu cha pratijagmu pratimudita samsanto vaishnavim shriyam. Yeah, great translation.
Hare Krishna. The sages circumambulated the Supreme Lord, offered their obeisances, and returned extremely delighted at learning of the divine opulences of the Vaishnavas. It
Read
is still
Prabhupada.
it is still a respectful practice to circumambulate the Lord in Hindu temples, especially in Vaishnava temples. There is an arrangement for people to offer their respects to the deities and circumambulate the temple at least 3 times. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the sages recognized, repented, and then Lord reconciled them, Lord pacified them. So then they circumambulated the Lord. So circumambulation is considered like a very, very giving kind of respect to the Lord. Circumambulation of the temple, pradakshina, that's what we say in technical terms, pradakshina. So they did pradakshina and then they left. So Prabhupada explained that the cultural aspect of pradakshina in our temple also, in any temples, generally Vaishnava temples especially. That is also one of the 64 angas, what Srila Prabhupada Swami mentioned in a Nodi, that we circumambulate the temple of the Lord, keeping Lord in the center. That is also one aspect of understanding, that we are keeping Lord in the center of our lives, wherever we are, wherever we are roaming, at least in the day or in the life. Dear Lord, let us, you be the center of our lives. That is also one understanding, that we circumambulate the Lord. It's more like a kind of a respect to the Lord, honoring the Lord. That is the main understanding. And there are different variations of understanding, variations and different reflections also will be there. Many devotees speak. That is to keep the Lord in the center of our thoughts, of our actions, of our words, of our lives. So that's the kind of representation of circumambulation. And that is a very wonderful cultural aspect that we can try to do every day, if possible, when we come to temple at least, or at home also if possible. So circumambulation of great saintly personality also, some devotees also do Prabhupada Pradakshina. Whatever applies, Rupa Goswami, I think Acharyas mentions, I think Jiva Goswami commentary on Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What applies to the Lord, 64 Angas, can be applied to pure devotees, especially. Some of them, whatever extent they can apply. So circumambulation can be applied to Vaishnavas, also exalted Vaishnavas, circumambulating them, especially Prabhupada, can be done. Now sages circumambulated and they left the place. Bhagavan yatam bhaishtam astusham brahma teja samardhopi hantum neche matam tume.
Lord then said to his attendants, Jai and Vijay, depart this place, but fear not. All glories unto you, though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse. I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval.
Continue.
As explained in connection with text 26, all the incidents that took place had the approval of the Lord. Ordinarily, there is no possibility that the 4 sages would be so angry with the doorkeeper, nor could be the Supreme Lord neglect his 2 doorkeepers, nor can one come back from Vaikuntha after once taking birth there. All these incidents, therefore, were designed by the Lord himself for the sake of his pastimes in the material world. Thus, he plainly says that it was done with his approval. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for inhabitants of Vaikuntha to come back to this material world simply because of a Brahminical curse. The Lord especially places the so-called culprit, all glories unto you. A devotee once accepted by the Lord can never fall down. That is the conclusion of this incident.
So Prabhupada gives the conclusion of the whole incident also. It's not, devotees never, in that sense, fall down or bereft of Lord's mercy. But there will be sometimes by the intervention of the Lord, there can be so many difficulties or whatever trouble situations. Many things may happen, but Lord will not do any kind of a thing that it separates the devotees. Though it appears externally, it appears like that, but separation, but it only intensifies the loving devotion, loving relationship between the devotee and the Lord. So that's how he enacts all the situations. So even in Pandava's case, this whole situation analyzed by Acharyas, that how the same Lord, the same Supreme Lord who is so dear to devotees, why he used so many troubles to his own devotees. So their explanation is given that Swasmin Aveshartham, because he gives the Dukkha Pradhanena Swasmin Aveshartham, by giving we'll take up the question. So by giving a trouble to devotee, Swasmina Veshartham, he gives an opportunity to give opportunity of absorption in Krishna. When there is difficulty, the absorption becomes more and more because they keep on intensely remembering, just like Draupadi is remembering. In both cases, in the forest exile, when she didn't had anything to offer for Durvasa Muni's lunch prasadam, and that was spoken, and also in the famous famous pastime, not pastime, famous incident of her disrobing in the assembly. So Swashmina Veshartham, it is to increase the absorption in Krishna. He Dukkha Pradhanena, he awards sometimes apparently for externally it appears it's dukkha for outside people, but it is only a very intense absorption for the devotees. Swasmina Veshartham. Tat Khandita Sukha Pradhanena Prema Vardhanartham. By breaking all those kind of difficulties or removing all those difficulties, Krishna awards the pleasure, or by his darshan, by his appearance, or by his whatever ways that he removes those obstacles or distresses. By that, what he does, Swasmin Prema Vardhanardam, he increases their love in him. So that's so in both ways, it is to absorption in him only. So both either distresses or happiness are to make to absorb our consciousness in Krishna, or the devotee's consciousness in Krishna. So that's the major aspect of Swasmin Aveshartham. By giving a distresses, he makes the devotees to be absorbed in his remembrance. Just like here is, we see that they're absorbed, Jay and Vijay, in various janmas, in 3 lifetimes, they are absorbed in Vishnu only, but in different flavors. But on the other hand, when the Tat Khandita Sukha Pradhanam, in the happiness, they absorbed the Prema Vardhanartham, by increasing their love towards the Supreme Lord. In both cases, they are absorbed. That is the one main point. That it appears to be difficult situations or trouble situations, but it is absorption in Krishna only is the result, final result. So he is saying to Jay Vijay directly, though I am capable of nullifying Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On contrary, it has my approval. So Lord wants to keep the Brahmana's curse intact because he loves the Brahmanas, and that should not be, it's a universal rule. That's what Acharyas explain. So we may not go to the purport because it will take a little time to more explanation, but the summary is that their explanation is given that the Lord wants to keep the intact the rule. The Brahmana's curse should not go in vain. Otherwise, people lose faith in the Brahmanas' words, either their blessings or whatever curses, whatever. Their curses itself, the blessing. The Brahmana's curse itself is a blessings, just like Nardamani curse, Manigriva, Nalakuvar. Nardamani curses also become blessings, great blessings to the Vaishnavas. So they are blessings in disguise, curses. So in that sense, they are blessings only. But Lord wants to keep them intact. He wants to give the potency of the Brahmanas' words, either curses or blessings. So the example is given that just like Garuda, Vishwanath Thakur gives example, just like Garuda gave his wing when he was taking a nectar pot from Indra after the milk ocean was churned and nectar was brought out, and Garuda wanted to take one nectar pot to give to Mother Kadru to remove her from the curse. So Indra threw the thunderbolt, and to respect the thunderbolt, Garuda, though Garuda could escape thunderbolt, but he gave one wing so that thunderbolt can smash it down. So it's respecting the thunderbolts of power. So it should not disrespect the thunderbolt's power. So that example is given to show that how, just like Garuda respected the thunderbolt, similarly Supreme Lord here wants to keep up the Brahmana's curse intact, in the sense that people should have faith in the Brahmana's words. So that's how here he said, let it be. Though I am capable of nullifying Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. So that's how in that sense it's mentioned. That example is also given. Does he want to keep up the word, and at the same time, on contrary, it has my approval. It is there. It's on my behalf. It's my permission is there. So that's how. But you don't worry. Depart from this place, but fear not. Don't worry. And Prabhupada explains the behind principle designed by Lord himself. So-called culprits, all glories unto you. So that's what Prabhupada's confidence and devotees, even Lord's confidence in the devotee. A devotee once accepted by the Lord can never fall down. That is the conclusion of the incident. Once Lord accepted. So how to recognize that a devotee has been accepted by the Lord? How to recognize that we see in terms of, especially as the devotees are accepting us, we see in terms of we may not be able to immediately recognize whether Lord accepted me or not, but we can see only in terms of our own surrender. From our side, we can always see that how much I am surrendering more and more. And to little extent, we can see that whether our superiors are happy, whether we are following superiors' instructions, guidance, are we following rules and regulations, what we have committed to. So that means definitely Lord is accepting, because acharyas are accepting us, Prabhupada and his disciples are accepting us. On that basis, we can definitely say that Lord is accepting us. Lord is recognizing us, our commitments or whatever. So the more we can see in terms of, so one aspect is that whether we are surrendering to, or whether we are taking guidance and instructions of our superiors. If they are happy, that means Lord is definitely accepting us. That is one point we can see. And more important is that how much we are like to surrender, in the sense of, when we say surrender, we need to see in terms of the 6 symptoms of surrender: accepting favorable, rejecting unfavorable, uprukte varna, how much we are actually developing that feeling of Krishna is only my protector and Krishna is only my maintainer, and atmanikshepano, karpanya, the humility, how much we are trying to develop humility aspects. 4 are internal aspects generally, and 2 are especially the practical things, accepting the favorable things and rejecting the unfavorable. The more we are doing these 2, the more we are being accepted by the Lord. In that sense, we can definitely see. I hope it's making some sense.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So yeah, in that way we can see that Lord is, once we are committed to see Ananya Chintayanto Mam Yajana Paripasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. The more we are coming to this platform, though we may not be able to remember all the 24 hours Ananya Chinta, but because we are committed to a process, because we are surrendering to a particular process, chanting 16 rounds and following the regular principles. And chanting itself says that Krishna is definitely accepting us. Where Lord Ram is saying to Vibhishan in that famous pastime of Vibhishan surrendering to Lord Ram, Sakrudeva prapannoyam tavasminniti yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai tadadi etat vratam mama. So he's saying, Lord Ram is saying that what I said, that how it started, I just now forgot the first line. Abhayam sarvada tasmai, I will give abhaya Sakrudeva prapannoyam. Yeah, even once he says, Lord Ram saying to Vibhishan is saying to Sakrudeva prapannoyam, even if he just once he says, he say, actually Lord Ram says there that even if Ravana comes and says, I surrender to you now, at this point, I will just give all the kingdom to him. I will not do any kind of harm to him. So that kind of a benediction, that kind of a promise Lord is taking. Sakrudeva prapannoyam tavasminiti yachate. Just we have to say, my dear Lord, I am yours. So, but that has to have some internal convictions, and definitely every day we are saying same thing in different words. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, but that it should have that kind of background feeling that Tavasminiti Yachate, my dear Lord, I am yours. So that kind of internal mood, when it is there, then it's actually that it conveys to the Lord that I am yours, my dear Lord. So when we are in that mood, Lord is taken already a vow that Abhyam Sarvada Tasmai Tadami Vratam Yetat Mama. He is taking a vow. Lord is taking a vow that I will make sure, and it's my promise that He is mine. He is mine forever. Whatever He may does, whatever it may happen to Him because of His conditionings. Last time also we have seen many quotes of many quotes in sense of Acharya. We have discussed that purport also. That Lord is taking a vow, but if a devotee also takes a vow that whatever may happen, I will not leave bhakti. Even Brahmaji comes and offers karma, jnana, etc., etc., that I am not going to leave bhakti. So that is the vow of devotee. So when these things are happening, of course, from Lord's side, when we see the Lord sees only a small fraction of surrender, then He is taking a vow that I will protect him. So Lord is accepting in that way. So these are some points around that same point, but the main thing is that we try to see from our side that how much we are following the 6 symptoms of surrender more and more. By doing that, we are definitely being accepted by the Lord, and we see the practical sense. We see the acharyas and our superiors are happy with us, with our commitments, with our services. Then Lord is definitely accepting us. Okay, text 30. पुरैव निर्दिष्टं रमया क्रुद्धया यदा पुरा परारिता द्वारी विशन्ति मय्युपारते. Read the translation.
Translation. This departure from Vaikuntha was foretold by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping.
So this verse shows some kind of a reason for what happened, why it all Jai Vijay has to come down. This gives a kind of a reason. But Acharya's comment, no comment was there from anyone. Neither Prabhupada also commented on this one. So the explanation mentioned that whether this verse exactly is there, many versions, many Bhagavatam versions have this verse, but no one commented on this verse. That's what the explanation given. Whether this verse originally is there or it's included later, it's not much clarity is there. But many versions of Bhagavatams, this verse is appearing. So that's why Prabhupada also included this verse. But no comments were there from any Acharya. Yeah, but this gives kind of a reason to the situation. It gives some explanation that, but we cannot directly comment what happened and how exactly happened. But that's how the explanation is given, that Mother Lakshmi was stopped and she became angry. And the situation, that's so. But we can take the lesson that it is also kind of a disrespecting a great personality or offending kind of a great personality. So we need to be careful. Same principle comes into picture. Mahad aparadh. Mayi sambrahma yogena nistirya brahmahelanam pratyeshyatam nikasham me kalena piyasa punaha. Read.
The Lord assured the two Vaikuntha inhabitants, Jaya and Vijay, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of sin of disobeying the Brahmanas and within a very short time return to me.
Read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead advised the two doorkeepers, Jai and Vijay, that by dint of Bhakti Yoga in anger, they would be delivered from the curses of the Brahmanas. Srila Madhva Muni remarks in this connection that by practicing Bhakti Yoga, one can become free from all sinful reactions. Even a Brahma's shapa or curse by a Brahmana is which cannot be overcome by any other means can be overcome by Bhakti Yoga.
One can practice Bhakti Yoga in many rasas. Prabhupada explains about a different aspect of how Bhakti can be practiced in 12 rasas, mainly 5, and Gona rasas are 7. So anger is also 1. So that's how he explains. But the Lord is assuring Vijay and Vijay, you will practice rather the yoga in anger. That is also Bhakti only. But you'll be cleansed of disobeying Brahmanas. Within very short time, you'll come back. Prabhupada explaining here that, of course, he quoting Madhvacharya is quoting. Bhakti Yoga is so powerful, even Brahmashap can be nullified or purified by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga has that kind of a potency. In that sense that, of course, when we are saying about offenses can be purified by Bhakti, definitely it has the potency to purify, Bhakti has the potency to purify offenses. But that aspect of cleansing has to be seen in terms of repentance and asking forgiveness from the person whom we offend, especially in our cases. In the case of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was very much upset with that our Gopal Chakravarti. I think Gopal Chakravarti, Gopal Chakravarti, I think two personalities are there. One is about Haridas Thakur. Past time happened with Gopal Chakravarti, I think his name. Then Gopal Chapal is the person where she was offended, she was Thakur. Gopal Chapal. So he was very much offending to Shivas Thakur and he was cursed. He contracted leprosy, etc. Many things happened. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, no, you cannot be forgiven unless you go and beg forgiveness from Shivas Thakur. So in that case, he went and begged forgiveness. So later on he was cured because of begging forgiveness from Shivas Thakur, Gopal Chapal. And one more pastime of Devanand Pandit is one of the great Bhagavatam reader, Bhagavatam scholar, teacher. But somehow he offended, somehow in the sense he of course he was attached to impersonal explanation of from Bhagavatam also, not from a bhakti point of view he used to explain. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was also angry on that aspect. He was more angry because one day it happened that Shiva Thakur was listening, sitting in the Bhagavatam class, his Bhagavatam class, but becoming ecstasy in that narrations of Katha he was hearing, became so happy and ecstatic. Shiva Thakur almost he in ecstasy fell down. He lost his consciousness. He was absorbed in samadhi. And these are all crying and rolling and all becoming. The other students felt it's very kind of disturbance to the class. What this fellow is doing? They thought like that. And when they're picking, they thought, okay, is it making disturbance, a lot of disturbance in the class? Let us pick him out, put him on the road. And while they're doing that, the Devanand Pandit didn't stop at all. Didn't took any action at all. So this was, of course, Shiva Thakur didn't said anything. Afterwards, he got up from this ecstasy and went ahead, he went to home and all. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered this great offense to the Vaishnava. So that's how he was chastised. He was very much reprimanded by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, he tore off his Srimad Bhagavatam itself. And through it, what is the use of your Bhagavatam study at all? You don't understand who is Bhagavat, who is Bhagavatam, person Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam. You don't understand the conclusions properly. So he was so unhappy and so was disappointed. I mean, in the sense of he reprimanded Devanand Pandit. But Devanand Pandit later on begged forgiveness from Shiva Thakur, and also he served the Vaishnavas, Vakreshwar Pandit. And that's how he again got the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So basically the point is that how, though we are practicing bhakti and it has a potency to purify offenses, but we need to beg forgiveness from the personality whom we offend. Of course, the famous pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sachi Mata and Advaita Acharya is very much spoken in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's a classical pastime to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows this pastime of how we need to be careful about not offending Vaishnavas. And also if there are some offenses, knowingly or unknowingly, we need to beg forgiveness from the Vaishnavas. So these are some things around that aspect of purifying ourselves from the different offenses. That's why Prabhupada instituted the morning after Mangalarati or after Sikshastakam, we offer our obeisances in the day. We have to have that mood in that. Knowingly or unknowingly, we have so many offenses. So we offer our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya Ritanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So in that we try to mitigate all of our offenses. So Prabhupada writes here, Bhakti Yoga is so powerful that both demigods and asuras can derive its benefits if they always think of personality of Godhead. The basic principle of Bhakti Yoga is to think of the Supreme Lord always. Now Prabhupada explains the potency of bhakti comes from remembrance of the Lord. So that is the essence of all the practices that we are doing sadhana from morning 4:30 to 9:30 or whatever time that one is trying to do, afternoon, evening, sometimes. But that is the main aspect, remembering Krishna, remembering the Lord, Manmana Bhavat Bhakta Prabhupada says here, that what brings the potency, remembrance of the Lord. Either we are chanting, either we are doing Mangalarati, or either we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, it's centered around remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So sometimes it may miss, especially the chanting. We are chanting, but the essence is missing. Just like when we cook some sweet, we are making halwa. And one time it happened that one devotee, it's not in a big scale, but small scale. He cooked everything, but when it was served, there was no sugar in the sweet. How it feels when you are taking halwa, there is no sugar at all. The substance is the sugar, right? As sweet. It doesn't appeal at all. So similarly, the substance of the chanting is a remembrance of Krishna. One time it happened that Prabhupada was taking Charanamrit on the counter after taking darshan. So Prabhupada put the Charanamrit in the mouth, and his expression was immediately changed and became stern. Who added salt in the Charanamrit? He announced. So somebody put salt in the Charanamrit. Generally, sugar is supposed to add it in Charanamrit, sugar and honey and other things. So then Prabhupada went to Vyasasan, sat on Vyasasan, and announced, who added salt in Charanamrit? One girl stood up and said she was not in a very sober manner. She was just laughing and saying, it's myself. Then Prabhupada reprimanded the manager. Manager should take care to give some responsible person to prepare Charanamrit. So she thought, okay, why to add sugar always? Let us add some salt. So the substance is that is sugar for the Charanamrit. It's not salt. So in that sense, remembrance is the essence or substance for whatever devotional activities that we are doing. The remembrance of the Lord, more and more remembrance of the Lord. Sometimes it may miss. So that's why we have aparadha shodhan at the end of the activities of our devotional services. Before and after, just like duty service, we have before and after. We have invoking the mood, invoking the substance that I am a servant of the Lord, servant of the servant. Gopir Bharator Patakamalayur Das Das Anadas. Bhuta Shuddhi is all to bring to the essence that I am, my dear Lord, I am your servant. And also after the duty services, we again have a aparadha shodhan. So just again, in case or knowing or unknowingly, so many offenses are happening. My dear Lord, please forgive. So in that sense, the substance is maintained. Similarly, whatever services, cooking, cleaning, studying. So all these things can also have initial prayers and ending prayers, so that the central substance is, even if it is missing sometimes, it can be forgiven by the Lord. Krishna consciousness is the highest form of thought, Prabhupada writing here. Lord Vishnu is thought of in this age by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. From the statements of Bhagavatam, it appears that if one thinks of Krishna, even as an enemy, that particular qualification, thinking of Vishnu or Krishna, cleanses one of all sins. So basically, power of Bhakti Yoga is spoken in this verse. Krishna Vishnu is assuring Jai Vijay, my dear devotees, don't worry. We just practice of remembrance of me. You will be purified from all the offenses and sins, etc. Text 32. वास्तादिश्य भगवान् विमानाश्रेणि भूषणम् सर्वातिश्रयाय लक्ष्म्या जुष्टं स्वं धिष्ण्यम् आविशत्. Please read.
After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuntha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial airplanes and all surpassing wealth and splendor. It is clear from this verse that all the incidents took place at the entrance of Vaikuntha Loka. In other words, the sages were not actually within Vaikuntha Loka, but were at the gate. It could be asked, how could they return to the material world if they entered Vaikuntha Loka? But factually, they did not enter, and therefore they returned.
So the Lord returned to his abode. Lord went to his abode, spiritual world, in Vaikuntha, where there are many celestial airplanes. Prabhupada explaining he's bringing the point from the last verses. Prabhupada generally does that in purports. If you have, of course, you are reading for many years, you can try to understand that Prabhupada Sometimes he explains the previous point in this purports, or the later verses also he brings up this purport. The future verses also he may sometimes comment on the initial verses itself. So Prabhupada is saying about how sages left from there. So Prabhupada, for that he is saying, how could they return to the material world if they entered Vaikuntha Loka? He was saying that they didn't enter at all because they are just at the gates. That's how one answer is given. And sometimes it is mentioned, one more example is given in a lighter mood. Vishnu Thakur mentions, so many sages went to Vaikuntha, just like Durvasa Muni and many other sages went to Vaikuntha. But how they come back? For that, it's in a lighter mood. He gives one example, just like a king. Sometimes he brings some joker to his kingdom, to his palace, in his sabha, or some animal like lion or any other things, just to show to the people, to give entertainment to all the audience. Right now, a king calls a joker or some other animal to make circus in the assembly, and then everybody's happy and jolly and laughing, and so to just to give entertainment to all his kingdom. So king may does that sometimes. So in that sense, sometimes Lord may bring, but they are sent back again, right? They are not the residents of in the kingdom, in the kingdom as in the palace. King is not going to give them a residence in the palace. So they come and just they give a show, and they go back. They will send back. So similarly, sometimes Lord does that in that aspect of Lord may call them and they send back. Like that example is given to make us understand how they return. Yeah, Lord brings them just to make some pastimes to happen, so that he gives some lessons, or he makes kind of a wonderful, of course, relishable pastimes for his devotees, and also for lessons for the conditioned souls practicing devotees. He does that, and then they come back. In that sense, he explains that one. Prabhupada explains. Prabhupada explains about more about the aspect of yogis, how they attain Vaikuntha Loka, how they attain and how they not attain, what is the process. More of a practice Prabhupada explains in that sense. Okay, the last section is remaining. So now the Lord is reconciled the situation. He explained to Jai Vijay also, and the many principles he explained, and then now Lord Brahma is concluding to the demigods. Now the camera goes to the Devatas and Lord Brahma, where we started with the 14th chapter. How Devatas went to Lord Brahma to ask the situation. 15th chapter, of course, starting of 15th chapter, it's asked the question by Devatas. So Lord is the situation is coming to that place. Camera is there with Lord Brahma and Devatas. Tattu grivana rushabho दुस्तरात् भरिलोकतः हताश्रियो ब्रह्मशापात् अभूतां विगतस्मयो. Please read. Hare Krishna.
But those who gatekeepers the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmanas, become morose and fell from Vaikuntha, the abode of the Supreme Lord.
So they lost their luster and they're coming down. They came down. Tada Vaikuntha Deshuna Tayor Nipatamaanayoho Harakaro Hahakaro Mahanashi Dvimanagreshu Putrakaha.
Then, as Jai and Vijay fell from the Lord's abode, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods who were sitting in their splendid airplanes.
Everybody was, when Jai are coming down, so everybody felt a great disappointment. Of course, Srila Vishnu, as I mentioned, 29th verse, one point was there from Vishwanath Thakur, though we are not going there to see the purport, but there he explained that though they were sent down, there he explains that based on the 8th canto, in one of the verses it explained that he gives the proof from the 8th canto that when Bali Maharaj was attacked, the Asura demons were attacking. So to support Indra, there were many personalities are there. In 8th canto, 2-3 verses are quoted here to show that how in that supporting to the Indra, there are Jai Vijay also is spoken. The names are given in the verses, 8th canto. So based on that point, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that, see here, Jai Vijay are already there in Vaikuntha also. But we see that two are coming here to Matyaloka. They are trying to be demons. How is that? To reconcile these two situations. So we need to give some explanation. Explanation should be given. So how is that they are there in Vaikuntha, and because need of Indra, they came, Jai Vijay, names are directly given. I think he quotes, we can see the verses, but we don't have much time, but he quotes 8th canto, I think 13th chapter, etc. So he says, to reconcile this, we need to understand that when the conversation happening between Lord Vishnu and Jai Vijay, they are crying so much when Lord said, my dear devotees, you need to go now. So when he mentioned just that, they were crying and crying and crying, feeling so much of separation. My dear Lord, we cannot go. But then Lord said, no, I cannot nullify this curse of Brahmanas because it will be a very great violation to the principles of Vedas. So I can't do that. So that's what Lord said. Okay, then Lord said, okay, now you be here only and you engage in my service. Don't worry about going back. And then he said, okay, you expand, the expansions of you two will go to and to the Martyaloka. And two, you can stay here also and you can serve me. So in that sense, because of their viraha, because of their repentance and their unable to give up the Lord's service, they are staying back in that Lord's planet, Vaikuntha, and two are coming here to reap the curse also. So the reconciliation is given by Acharya is that so they expanded the Amsha of Jai Vijay came to the Martyaloka to reap the curse of the Brahmanas, and also the other Amsha is definitely there, which are spoken in 8th canto. Oh, they are accompanying Devatas to support of the Indra to fight against Bali Maharaj. In the 8th canto, if at all, if you come to later on, you can find there definitely. But that verse is spoken by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I'm just giving another incident how though they are coming down here, it's spoken here, they're coming down, they lost their luster and they fell down from the abode of the Vaikuntha. And there two are
I
also.
have a short question here. So Prabhuji, the Bali Maharaj is not at the same time like Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. So can we say that after Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu avatar, they went back to their duties as
they were there in that sense of expansions came here. You're asking question, Bali Maharaj is after Prahlad Maharaj series, after Prahlad Maharaj, Vamsha, you're coming, you're saying.
Yeah. So that time they were their pastime as Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu was finished. And Ravana is some more time to go. So they then came back to Vaikuntha.
Correct. I didn't read any kind of that explanation whether they merged again or they came back again, where they stayed in between. Yeah, there is explanation somewhere. I vaguely remember. Maybe I need to check. I heard all these explanations are given by Rupa Swami in Laghu Bhagavatamrit. What exactly happens, where they stay in between, whether they went back to Vaikuntha, whether they're coming in between. I'll just check once again and let you know.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, their gatekeepers are there. Amsha are trying to reap the results. Yeah. Okay, 33. Yeah, wait. I think we read was Tattu Krivana Rishabhau Dostara Lokataha Atashriyo Brahma Shapat Abhutam Vigatasmayo. Please read.
But those two gatekeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmanas, became morose and fell from Vaikuntha, the abode of Supreme Lord.
They came down. Tada Vaikuntha Dishanat Tayor Nipatamanayohu. I think we read this one. No? Yeah. Tayor Nipatamanayohu Hahakaro Mahanasit Vimanagreshu Putrakaha. Please read.
Then, as Jai Vijay fell from the Lord's abode, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods who were sitting in their splendid airplanes.
Tavev hi adhuna paptau parshada pravarau harehe diter jatara nirvishtam kashyapam tejavulbanam. Is it?
Lord,
Those two principal doorkeepers of the personality of Godhead have now entered the womb of Diti, the powerful sinner Kashyapa Muni, having covered them.
How Prabhupada explains based on that, here is a clear proof of how a living entity coming originally from Vaikuntha Loka is engaged in material elements. Prabhupada explains that aspect of how living entity takes shelter of a father and enters in the womb of a mother, and that's how he is engaged in this body. So that's why Prabhupada explains that aspects. And also he explains twin brothers, how they conceive, how they are conceived, and how who is considered eldest, who is considered a brother. So that he explains there in this purport. You can read that one. Tayorasurayoradya tejasa yamayorhiva akshiptam teja etarhi bhagavams vidisitai vidissati.
Hare Krishna. It is the prowess of these twins asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this.
Continue.
Although Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, formerly Jai and Vijaya, become asuras, the demigods of the material world could not control them, and therefore Lord Brahma said that neither he nor all the demigods could counteract the disturbance they created.
So
In
the
other
main
words,
question is kind of an answer. Yeah, thank you. The main question asked by demigods, that the devatas, that what happened, why we are so disturbed, what is the reason for this all darkness around the universe? So, Brahmaji could have given only just incident. Oh, there was a curse by Kumaras, and because they're entering into Vaikuntha, and Jai Vijay was they stopped them, and the curse was given, and that's how they fell down, and they're becoming demons. Brahmaji could have said that one, only 2-3 verses, but he explained starting with Vaikuntha from the last chapter, and this chapter, almost 2 chapters, he explained to the devatas what happened. So that's the one of the aspect also we can learn how, though he's not giving solution here, he just explained the situation. So that is another aspect that so it is the prowess of these twins asuras that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power. However, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this. So Brahmaji, though He didn't have direct solution, nor he knows what exactly the solution. But he knows whatever he has, that whatever is within his capacity, he explained. He gave reasons, he analyzed the situation, he explained it. And that's how we also need to be. If somebody approaches, then definitely if we don't know much, then we should say that there is no remedy within my power. I don't know exactly what is the solution. But we can explain according to our own understanding, our own experience, that these are all the spiritual aspects. So that is one part, that another part, that when we don't know, we should say clearly that I don't know. That much humility we need to have as a speakers, as a counselors, as a guidance, as a guiding superiors. And of course, we can inquire from others, and we can give the whatever solutions or explanations, etc., by consulting superiors. That gives more faith to the subordinates or dependents than trying to show that I know everything else in the universe. Everything I have solution. Whatever problem I have solution. No, we may not have. We don't know. I mean, we are not capable of giving many times a solution, direct solutions, or directing the problem itself. So as Brahmaji is also agreeing for that fact, but he explained, he gave a clarity. Also, he gave Krishna Katha also. He explained about Vaikuntha. He explained about wonderful dealings and cooperation of Vaikuntha, how things are happening in Vaikuntha. He gave Krishna Katha, the whole maybe 1 or 2 hours explaining about Vaikuntha. Wonderful Krishna Katha happened. And that is also an indirect solution to all the problems. In actuality, Krishna Katha, or discussing about the Supreme Lord, it raises the consciousness of the people who are caught with particular troubles or particular situations of life, distress of life. Darkness can be considered ignorance. So because of ignorance, one becomes one will be troubled, one will put into distressful situation. So the ultimate root cause is the ignorance is coming to the light. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. That ultimate light is the Krishna Katha. Of course, Krishna Katha is also considered a root solution for all the problems. And many verses of Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies the Krishna Katha is the solution for all the problems of life. Asesa Sanklesha Samam Vidatte Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare. Asesa Sanklesha Samam Vidatte. Asesa Sanklesha, all the Sankleshas of the world, of the life. Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare. So we need to hear Krishna Katha is the panacea of all the Samsarinam Karunaya Purana Guhyam. For all the samsaris caught up in the samsara, Karunaya Purana Guhyam, Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken for Samsarinam Karunaya. So for all the, definitely Krishna Katha, in the sense that it's a overall rising level of consciousness, we are caught up with the material problems or material situations and circumstances, either family situations or financial situations or job situations or this and that, or wherever one may be in a family life or an ashram life. We have so many issues with physically, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes spiritually also, philosophically. So for that, the ultimate solution, we raise our consciousness level. Though the problems will be there and they need to be addressed, definitely, that Brahmaji is addressing, definitely we need to address the problem itself, if we can. But Brahmaji is saying it's not in my power, but Lord will do it, definitely. I may not be in control of everything, but somebody is in control of everything. So I may not be in control of everything. Doesn't mean that it's not in control of nobody. I may not be in control of everything. That doesn't mean that nobody is in control of everything. Somebody is there in control. So that is Supreme Lord will do, definitely, because he is the ultimate controller. He will do whatever according to his plan. Everything will go on. So that's the Brahmaji's mood here. We are saying that how we also can learn many things from here. Very powerful. Yeah, one point is that Lord will control. Lord, he has all the solutions. Lord's Katha is the discussing about Lord raises the consciousness. At least for that time being, we are coming out of the consciousness of the problem conscious. We are always problem conscious, but we need to be Krishna conscious more and more. Yeah, definitely problems need to be addressed and solved. But if you are not Krishna consciousness on an overall scale, then even though the problems may solved at the various levels, problems will come again. The problems will keep on coming again, keep on be solving. But that is not the end of life. We need to be more and more Krishna consciousness. Whether the problems are there or not, we need to increase our Krishna consciousness day by day. So in that sense, Brahmaji wonderfully addressed the Devatas, and he explained about Vaikuntha, he glorified Vaikuntha. And then he is finally saying, it's not in my control. Let us wait for the Lord's plan. Let us see what Lord wants to do. Brahmaji showed the demigod that the situation created by darkness for which they were disturbed was the desire of Supreme Lord. Yeah, he explained, yeah, it's all on the plan of the Lord. That pacified the Devatas also. We will see the first verse of the next chapter also. How the others are very much pacified, and they removed all kind of fear. So just having the explanation itself is a great relief. Similarly, anyone who is ordered by the Lord to perform some action in this material world, especially preaching his glories, cannot be counteracted by anyone. The will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. So Prabhupada explaining about the will of the Lord, in that he is applying the preacher's case, especially he himself is putting himself in that role. Anyone, means here also Prabhupada is included, anyone who is ordered by the Lord performs some action in the material world, especially preaching his glories. Yeah, Prabhupada was facing so many issues, especially when he's translating third canto, fourth canto, almost in 70s, mid 70s. So cannot be contacted by anyone, because it's Lord's will has to be executed. That will come true. So in that sense, Prabhupada is writing this purport. But Lord's will has to come true. So Brahmaji said, yeah, it's not in my control. Let us see what Lord wants to do. So that's how Brahmaji addressing Devatas, last verse of this chapter. Vishwasya yastiti layopta heturadyo yogeshwarairapi duratyaya yogamaya kshemam vidasyati sano bhagavam trayadhishas tatrasmadiya vimrishena kiyan ihartaha. Please read translation.
My dear sons,
the Lord is the
Yeah, continue, Mataji.
My dear sons, the Lord is the controller of nature and is responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yoga Maya, cannot be easily understood even by the masters of yoga. The most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject? When something is arranged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one should not be disturbed by it, even if it appears to be a reverse according to one's calculations.
So Brahma is saying, what purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on subject? So something which is beyond circle of influence and circle of concern. When we have influence, we can do something, but if we don't have influence, but we are only concerned, then it's not much use to too much deliberating on those aspects. Let us wait for the Lord's plan. So it's a very, very, very thin section where we are trying to endeavor. At the same time, we are accepting it's Krishna's will. We need to take a decision between our experience and our understanding and superiors, especially guidance, where we should stop endeavoring and where we should endeavor more. That's a very delicate part in our life. So, but whatever happened for the past, we need to accept it's Lord's plan. But whatever is happening in the future, we need to exercise our free will, and at the same time taking guidance from superiors. We need to make plans to grow in spiritual life. In that sense, we need to accept it's all Krishna's plan. Whatever happened, and one should not be disturbed by it. So Prabhupada explained many examples about Haridas Thakur and Kazi's example, Jesus Christ. They all accepted as its Lord's plan. Seeing all these reverses affect devotees, one should not be disturbed. One should simply understand that in all these matters, there must be some plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhagavatam's conclusion is that a devotee is never disturbed by such reverses. He accepts even reverse conditions as the grace of the Lord. One who continues to serve the Lord even in reverse conditions is assured that he will go back to Godhead, back to the Vaikuntha planets. Yeah, that is the hallmark of a devotee we discussed many times also. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 16th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijay, cursed by sages. Okay, we are running little short of time here. Let us see. Of course, it is though the 30 verses are there, but the purport and all very small. At least we will try to cover a little major portion. So, Brahmaji addressing in the last aspect that, dear my dear Devatas, don't worry too much. There is a difficulty definitely in your lives. As far as my understanding and experience, I explained to you. Let us take shelter of the Lord. Lord knows everything. Lord is in control of everything also. He's not just knower, but he's also in control of everything. He's not only Sarvagnya, he's omnipotent, Sarvashaktiman. He has everything in his control. He can do anything if he wants. So let us not worry, let us carry on our services. So he assured Devatas, and then now Devatas are what they're feeling. Let us see here in 17th chapter. So as I mentioned, 17th chapter is about how they are taking birth as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and how they are influencing the whole universe. Their birth and their influence is explained in 17th chapter. And the fight between Lord and Hiranyaksha is explained in the 18th chapter. So mainly two sections, their birth and their influence, and how Hiranyaksha is searching for a competent person to fight with. So these two things are explained here. Of course, there are many things to discuss about different avatars and Lord Varaha avatars, and when they all appear. There explains a little bit. I'll just mention here that in one day of Brahma, that there are these are all explained by Rupa Goswami. I heard in His Grace Kanai Krishna Prabhu's class that there are avatars are all different times they appear. That especially Varaha avatar we are going to read also in the next chapter, especially when he appears and manifests. Of course, we read a little bit in 13th chapter. Lord Varaha appeared twice, that Nila Varaha and Shweta Varaha. And Swayambhu Manu rule. In the first Manvantara is Swayambhu Manu's rule. Shweta Varaha appeared. And in Chakshusha Manvantara, 6th Manvantara, what we are going to read is Nila Varaha is explained. 2 times Varahadeva appears. Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Narasimha appears 1 time in one day of Brahma. And it is said that Lord Meena Avatar, the Matsya Avatar appears 14 times. And because there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma to protect all the Vedas, etc., he appears every Manvantara.
Prabhuji, is it a Neela Varaha or a Rakta Varaha?
Yeah, both are mentioned, Neelvaraha and Raktavaraha. Both names are given. Because why Raktavaraha? Any idea? Any guess?
His color was red? I don't know.
Yeah, his color was red. He became red. Why he became red?
Killing
He
of
killed.
Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah, because his tusk, when he killed Hiranyaksha, all the blood was covered Nilavaraha. So that's why Prabhupada also purports writes Raktavaraha. So Nilavaraha is himself is called Raktavaraha, another name. Otherwise Shvetavaraha is different. Basically, two activity their pastimes are Shvetavaraha only established. The time there was no appearance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu in Swayambhu Manu. And the time Manu. So he only re-established the earth in its planet. Why then? Why it fell down? I only heard that Agastya Muni had some kind of curse on earth, so it fell down to the Garbhodak ocean. That's how Shvetavaraha appeared and established on the again its orbit in the planetary system. But here in Chatush Manvantara, Chakshush Manvantara, where Hiranyaksha, there are two versions are there, two versions in the sense Hiranyaksha digged so much gold from earth loses its balance and it fell in the Garbhodak ocean. And to establish the earth and at the same time kill the Hiranyaksha, Lord appeared as a Nilvaraha. And also Hiranyaksha, it said, some Puranas mentioning that he used to kind of a play. Hiranyaksha is playing with earth and pushing it, made it fell into Garbhodak ocean. But anyway, Hiranyaksha is involved in Chakshusman mantra. And because of him, earth fell down and Lord came and killed Hiranyaksha and established earth on the orbit. In both cases, earth was established, but the causes were different. So the killing of Hiranyaksha comes in Chakshusman mantra. So Nilavaraha, he became Raktavaraha later on. Nila means is like a bluish, blackish color initially, but he became Raktavaraha. So in that sense, he is Raktavaraha also. Okay, so mainly in this chapter, Hiranyakashipu both appear and their influences all the symptoms are explained in 15 verses. And then brothers grew up, all 19 till 19, almost like their birth and their influence. And then Hiranyaksha starts Hiranyaksha also starts terrorizing the whole universe in all directions, conquering all. And then he goes to Varuna and challenging Varuna to fight to have a fight, to have fun of fighting. So he challenges Varuna and Varuna says, I am an old person now. Please, there is Lord Varaha is there, who is a suitable match for you. You go ahead. So that's how the chapter only have a very two themes only, their growth and their influence and their, especially Hiranyaksha going to different places and trying to show his power. Let us see. Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of universe. Prabhupada's titles, this one. Maitreya Uvacha. निशम्यात्मा भुवा गीतं कारणं शङ्कयोजिताः ततः सर्वे न्यवर्तन्त त्रिदिवाया दिवौकसः. Please read.
Shri Maitreya said, the demigods, the inhabitants of the higher planets, were freed from all fear upon hearing the cause of the darkness explained by Brahma, who was born from Vishnu. Thus, they all returned to their respective planets.
Read first para.
The demigods, who are denizens of higher planets, are also very much afraid of incidents such as the universe's becoming dark, and so they consulted Brahma. This indicates that the quality of fear exists for every living entity in the material world.
So there are many points we can try to discuss, and last verses and the starting verses of this chapter about how when the difficult situation come, what we need to do, what will happen internally, and what is the solutions. We discuss a little bit. Definitely you might have heard many things around that aspect. But yeah, but hearing from authorities makes us free from all fear, though there is no direct solution immediately. Just by analyzing and understanding from superiors, it has a great relief that that we have a Krishna consciousness is the rock bottom that we need to make it, and based on that, all the situations we can be analyzed, which are temporary in nature. So when we see the background, then we can be firm in our activities. Will not be bewildered. There will not be any bewilderment, in ignorance or fear, etc. So we need to hear from authorities. Prabhupada explains that fear aspect, how everyone is fearful from starting from higher planets to lower planetary systems. The fear element is there out of 4 principles. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuram Cha. That Bhaya is there everywhere. So we need to approach personalities, authorities to get rid of the fear aspect and going ahead with spiritual life practicing spiritual life confidently. Prabhupada explains the difference between demigods and ordinary human beings is that demigods approach authority, whereas inhabitants of earth defy authority. Of course, Devatas has that aspect. Whenever they have trouble, they have confidence in Brahmaji and the Lord's plan. Of course, everyone is not defying in the inhabitants of the earth, but generally, it's majorly is an indication that it's taken as a major indication. The inhabitants of the earth defy authority. Read the last para.
The conclusive instruction of this incident is that we may be disturbed by some material condition, but if we approach the authority who can actually explain the matter, then our problem is solved. The demigods approached Brahma for the meaning of the disturbance, and after hearing from him, they were satisfied and returned home peacefully.
Yeah, actually explain the matter. Who can actually explain the matter, and our problem is solved. The demigods approached Brahma for meaning of the disturbance. After hearing from him, he didn't give solution. They just heard from him. They're satisfied because they understood the Lord is in control. So when we feel that we are in control, that's where the issues come. They thought, "Arey, we are in control of everything. How come things went out of our control?" So that's when they understood that, yeah, Lord is in control of everything. Well, let us see what our plan is. Of the Lord is, let us be peaceful and continue our services. So that's where Bhuktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surjam Sarvabhutanam Gnatva Mam Shanti Ruchati. That's how one attains peace, happiness. At least one may not have direct solution, and the troubles may come later on. It's not that the Brahmaji gave solution, this is the problem, so they are going to take birth. After birth also, before birth only so much issue is there. And what to speak of after birth? What kind of problems will come? There will be so many problems will come later on. But they became pacified, just the fact that Lord is in control. That's the main point of Brahmaji's explanation. Lord is in control of everything. And Lord does the great things. Don't worry too much. So they also know, demigods also know that they are just in the womb only, they are getting so much of disturbance. What to speak, they take birth and they do many other activities. But they are convinced that, yeah, Lord is in control. We are only tiny controllers. Lord is in actual control. That's the point. Ditistu भर्तुर आदेशात् अपत्या परिशंकिनी पूर्णे वर्षशते साध्वी पुत्रौ प्रशुषुवे यमौ प्रशुषुवे यमौ. Read. Continue.
The virtuous
The virtuous lady
lady
Diti had been very appreciative of trouble to the cause from the children in Pune. And her husband predicted the same. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of failure.
Maybe Anand Mohan bro, you can select devotees names and you could put a post in chat and you can, alphabetically. They can read one by one after other.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, there will not be confusion. Yeah, Diti now very apprehensive of the troubles. The trouble of the gods. Of course, yeah, we have seen this aspect that Diti was, after she became little repentant, and she was little repentant in the sense that she is going, because Kashyap Muni said, hey, you are going to cause such a trouble to universe itself. Everybody is going to suffer because of you, because of your mistake. Then she became little repentant, and she tried to hold the pregnancy for 100 years. Celestials. That's an amazing potency. She's a special lady, definitely. So that's how she waited for 100 years. And then after that, she's going to give birth. She brought forth twin sons after a full 100 years of pregnancy. But unfortunately, later on, when they were killed by the Supreme Lord himself, she became again disturbed. Again, he asked Kashyap Muni, I want to kill Indra because of Indra only my two sons were been killed by Lord. Lord is Indra is supported by Lord. So I want to kill Indra. So you give me some vrata again. I want to bring forth one more son that who can kill Indra. Then Kashyap Muni, that time he thought, oh, I should give some special remedy now. Pumsavana vrata he gave to Diti. So that time again, that's how a beautiful pastime again it started. You will read later on. That basically here the point is Diti has a swinging moods about consciousness. She was repentant, knowing that she is going to give trouble to the universe. But after giving a birth to children, she became so affectionate to the children. She was attached to children. When they were killed, again she was disturbed. So these are all kind of showing a conditioned state of consciousness of a conditioned soul who is not fixed up in a proper consciousness. Then his swinging moods will happen. Sometimes affected by the troubles, sometimes attachments. Sometimes repenting in the sense of okay, others are feeling bad, others are my activities are disturbing others. I feel remorse or repentant sometimes, or sometimes I'm selfish more. I'm attached to many things of my own. So this may show some our own conditioned nature, how our mood swings many times. Yeah, that's the nature of conditioned consciousness. We need to be more and more purified to become not seasonal devotee, but seasoned devotee. Seasonal devotee means whenever fair weather, whenever weather is fair, we are doing bhakti. And when some troubles are there, we are slackening in bhakti. Not like that. Seasoned means paka, whatever situation may be, I'm going to serve my dear Lord, whatever situation may be. So that's the nature of a seasoned devotee. That's where we are trying to become a Nishta devotee. Coming to the platform, Nishta means platform of not shaking at all, whatever situation may be in life. Whether it's fair or not, whether a situation of life, financially or socially or health-wise, physically, whatever situation. Of course, there are some adjustments will be there, but we are firm in our determination to serve the Lord in all circumstances. Okay, Diti is now bringing forth the two children, twins. So what is happening after that? These are all symptoms are spoken till 15 or till 19 especially. 15 spoken or omens are spoken. And 3-4 verses speaks about the influence of their birth after what happened. Once they took birth, what happened? उत्पाता बहवस्तत्र नेपतोर्जायमानयोः दिवि भुव्य अंतरिक्षे च लोकस्योरुभयावः. Please read.
On the birth of the two demons, there were many natural disturbances, all very fearful and wonderful in the heavenly planets, the earthly planets, and in between them.
Very natural disturbances. This is kind of effect of a sinful people or tendencies. It shows in terms of nature. The influences are affected. Nature is affected by these personalities. So the influences are omens are spoken here. Antariksha, both three levels. Not only earthly planets, not only heavenly planets, and then in between also Antariksha. In the between also everything is affected. Sahachala bhuvascelur दिशः सर्वाः प्रज्वलः प्रज्वलुः श्लोकाश्चा चाशनयः पेतु केतवश्चात्रिहेतवः.
There were earthquakes along the mountains on the earth, and it appeared that there were fire everywhere. Many inauspicious planets like Saturn appeared, along with comets, meteors, and thunderbolts. When natural disturbances occurs on a planet, one should understand that a demon must have taken birth there. In the present age, the number of demonic people is increasing, therefore natural disturbances are also increasing. There is no doubt that this, as we can understand from the statements of Bhagavatam.
Basically, there is no much explanation because things are very clear in these verses. Basically, these are omens, and because of influence of these two personalities, things are happening. They are explained. We will just read the purport and translations. Vayo Vayu Shudusparshah Putkaran Irayanmuhu Unmulayan Nagapatin Vyatyaniko Rajodvajaha.
Parmeshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Their blue winds, which were most
Uninviting.
uninviting, to touch, hissing again and again, and uprooting gigantic trees. They had storms for their armies and clouds of the dust for their ensigns. Purport. There are natural disturbances like blowing cyclones, too much heat or snowfalls, and uprooting of trees by hurricanes. It is to be understood that the demonic population is increasing, and so the natural disturbance is also taking place.
Prabhupada explains these are sure.
There are many.
Yeah, thank you, Mother. These are sure that such places are inhabited by demoniac people who are accustomed to all kinds of forbidden and sinful activity. So the Prabhupada gives kind of a summary to what is happening here. In our current situations also, Prabhupada brings in that point. We are seeing all these calamities or whatever abnormalities, means that demonic tendencies are increasing day by day. So that's the main point of Prabhupada's theoretical application. Application to society, theological application, Prabhupada brings in. Because the blue winds is like cyclones, circles, cyclones. There are many cyclones. There are hundreds of cyclones like that, small. So they are making blind. Also, the dust is kind of a flags compared to flags. The dust. Okay. Uddasat tadit ambodha घटया नष्टभागने व्योम्नि प्रविष्टतमसा नस्म व्यादृशेत् पदम्.
Ramkishore.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay. The luminaries in the heavens were screened by masses of clouds, in which lightning sometimes flashed as though laughing. Darkness reigned everywhere, and nothing could be seen.
चुक्रोशा विमान वार्धीर उदूर्मी क्षुभितोदरः सोदपानाश्च सरिताश्च चक्षुभू शुष्कपङ्कजाः. Continue. You can continue for 3-4 verses.
Yes, Prabhuji. The ocean, with its high waves, wailed around as if stricken with sorrow, and there was a commotion amongst the creatures inhabiting the ocean. The rivers and lakes were also agitated, and lotuses withered.
Basically, the effect is seen at every level. मुहुः परिधयो भुवान् सराफ्यो शशिसूर्ययोः निर्घाता रथनिर्हादा व्यवरेभ्यः प्रजिग्निरे.
Misty halos appeared around the sun and the moon during solar and lunar eclipses again and again. Claps of thunder were heard even without clouds, and sounds like those of rattling chariots emerged from the mountain caves.
अंतर्ग्रामेषु मुखतो वमन्यतो वह्निम् उल्बणम् शृगालोलूक टङ्कारै प्रणनेदुर् अशिवं शिवाः.
In the interior of the villages, she jackals yelled portentously, vomiting strong fire from their mouths, and jackals and owls also joined them with their cries.
And the animals, the effect is seen in all the animals also. Sangeetavad rodanavad उन्नमय्या शिरोधरां व्यमुञ्चन् विविधा वाचो ग्रामसिंहास्ततस्ततः.
Raising their necks, dogs cried here and there, now in the manner of singing and now of wailing.
It's very interesting to see. The dog has another name, Gramasimha. Simha is a lion, especially that is the forest is Simha, but it's Grama Simha. It's a dog is like a Grama Simha who is trying to control all the gramas, right? Like it controls. Practically, we see every day we go to Harinam morning and morning especially. We see the dogs has particular places. Every dogs, at least 4-5 dogs have particular place, and they are controlling that area. If any dog, other dog comes that area, they keep on barking. The Grama Simha. खराश्च कर्कशैर्कक्षत्त कुरैर् घनतो घन्ततो धारतलं कार्काररवसामात्ताः पर्यधावन् वरूथशः.
O Vidura, the asses ran hither and thither in herds, striking the earth with their hard hoofs and wildly braying.
Read, Prabhupada.
Asses also feel very respectable as a race, and when they run in flocks hither and thither in so-called jollity, it is to be understood to be a bad sign for human society.
There are some omens, bad omens. Even we might have definitely we read in first canto also Yudhishthira Maharaj omens. In that chapter of Yudhishthira Maharaj, when Lord Krishna's departure, after departure of Lord Krishna, various omens are seen by Yudhishthira Maharaj. And these are all some omens just giving an indication that there is something going to be bad or something happening wrong. These are all some nature's reaction for sinful or some kind of inauspiciousness. Rudanto Rishabha Trasta Nidat Udapatan Kagaha Ghosheranye च पशवः शक्रन् मोत्रम् अकुर्वत. Other devotee, any other devotee can read.
Frightened by the braying of the ashes, birds flew dripping from their nests, while cattle in the forested as well as in the woods passed dung and urine.
So animals are becoming frightening here. All the animals, birds. Gavot Gavotrasan asrubdhoha dohas tayoda puyavarshinaha vyurudhan devalingani drumaha petur vinanilam.
Cows, terrified, yielded blood in place of milk. Clouds rained food. The images of the gods in the temple shed tears, and trees fell down without a blast of wind.
Past the wind. So cows are also giving blood instead of milk. These are all the effects of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu just taking birth. Grahan punyataman anye भगणांश्चापि दीपिताः अतिचेरुर्वक्रगत्या युधश्च परस्परम्.
Ominous planets such as Mars and Saturn shone brighter and surpassed the auspicious ones as Mercury, Jupiter, and Venus, as well as a number of lunar mansions. Taking seemingly retrograde courses, the planets came in conflict with another.
Yeah, retrograde means what is that? Reversing, declining, backward, taking seemingly backward courses. The planets came in conflict with one another. Read the purport.
The entire universe is moving under the three modes of material nature. Those living entities who are in goodness are called the pious species. Pious lands, pious trees, etc. It is similar with the planets also. Many planets are considered pious and others are considered impious. Saturn and Mars are considered impious. When the pious planet shines very brightly, it is an auspicious sign. But when the inauspicious planet shines very brightly, that is not a very good sign.
So yeah, all this graha doshas, etc. All this auspiciousness is considered according to the planets, but according to for devotees, Krishna graha grihit atma. For Prahlad Maharaj is mentioned, he was caught by Krishna graha. All the other grahas, no question of any influence on Prahlad Maharaj because he was influenced by Krishna graha grihit atma. So there is no question of any other grahas influencing him, Prahlad Maharaj, especially for devotees. So this is a more of auspiciousness from planetary system point of view, explained how the influence of inauspicious planets is increasing when they appeared. Drashtvanyamscha mahotpatan atattattva vidah prajaha brahmaputran rute bhita menire vishvasamplavam.
Marking these and many other omens of evil times, everyone but the four sage son of Brahma, who were aware of the fall of Jay and Vijay and of their birth and his son, was seized with fear. They did not know the secret of this fortune and thought that the dissolution of the universe was at hand.
Yeah, only the Kumaras, except for everyone but the four sages, four sons of Brahma, of course Brahma also, was seized with fear because of his personalities. Read the red underlined portion.
In former days, there were only two demons, those born of the sea, and there were so many disturbances at the present day. Especially in this age of Kali, these disturbances are also visible, which indicates that the demonic population has certainly increased.
Yeah, they are always visible. Also, at the present day, especially in this age of Kali, these disturbances are always visible which indicates that the demonic population has certainly increased. So only two personalities were causing so much havoc. Prabhupada explains the same point that how the laws of nature are working and how Bhagavatam is confirming all these disturbances are because of lack of Krishna consciousness, increasing demonic population. And Prabhupada, the root causes he explains. So symptom of demonic, the symptoms are like all the disturbances and troubles and miseries, etc. The cause is demonic people. And Prabhupada further goes saying that what is the cause of demonic people? Because of Varna Sankara. That's the main aspect Prabhupada brings in the next para. And Varna Sankaras are becoming more and more in the Kali Yuga. So we need to be careful about that aspect also, so that we can have a good population in the society, which can bring up at least peace and prosperity to some extent. So that's the main aspect of Prabhupada's purport. Both aspects explained, causes and symptoms, is going further and further cause to root out the disturbances in society. Till now, we have seen 15 verses in auspicious. We will just take these 3 verses also and we will pause here. Now brothers are growing up, the 2 brothers, the famous brothers. Tavadi Daityau Sahasa व्यज्यमानात्म पौरुषौ ववृधाते स्म सारेण कायेनाद्रिपतीव.
These two demons who appeared in ancient times soon began to exhibit uncommon bodily features. They had tree-like frames which began to grow just like 2 great mountains.
So they began growing now. Their growth is also very unusual. They were decorated with valuable ornaments and they thought that this was success in life. Of course, Prabhupada is explaining about the materialistic attitude. We can read more about demonic mentality. Definitely you all read in Bhakti Shastri, 16th chapter, Bhagavad Gita. The demonic mentality, demonic thinking, and their words and their activities, etc. Kaya Manasa Vacha, what is that mentality? So that's Prabhupada mainly addressing here. So they think that materialistic advancement, materialistic life itself is the only goal. That's one of the main points Prabhupada brings out in this section, how their demonic mentality. दिवि स्पर्शो हेम किरीट कोटिभिर् निरुद्धकाष्ठौ स्फुरदङ्गदा भुजौ गां कंपयन्तौ चरणै पदे पदे कट्या सुखान् चक्राम् अतीत्यतस्तुः. Other devotee, some other devotee can read.
Translation: their bodies became so tall that they seemed to kiss the sky with the crest of their gold crowns. They blocked the view of all directions and while walking shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned by brilliant bracelets and they stood as if covering the sun with their waists, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles.
Continue.
Purport: in the demonic way of civilization, people are interested in getting a body constructed in such a way that when they walk on the street, the earth will tremble, and when they stand, it will appear that they cover the sun and the vision of the 4 directions. If a race appears strong in a body, their country is materially considered to be among the highly advanced nations of the world.
So Prabhupada is pointing out demonic way of thinking and civilization itself. Even if I am not making the earth tremble or cover the sun, I feel like that. Demonic people feel like that I am making the earth tremble by my every step, either walking or by my actions, etc. That's the way they think and feel, that I am the lord of my area. I can do anything. That's the way of civilization, demonic way of civilization. Prabhupada is mentioning here. So they do everything on the body level. That's the nature of demonic mentality. A thinking we can try to understand in our life also, if at all. We try to peep in and try to understand more and more so that we can get rid of the demonic mentality in ourselves also. Prajapatirnamatyor akarshit yah prak swadehat yamayor ajayata tambhai hiranyakashipum vidu praja yam hiranyaksham asuta sagrataha.
Translation: Kashyap Prajapati, the creator of the living entities, gave his twin sons their names. The one who was born first he named Hiranyaksha, and the one who was the first conceived by Diti is named Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah. So Kashyapa, the Prajapati, he gave name Namakaran ceremony is happening to his sons. Right? Namakaran. He knows our Kashyapa Muni is so learned and perfect. He gave exactly the names. Tamvai Hiranyakashipum Vidu Praja Yam Tam Hiranyaksham Asuta Sagrataha. So Prabhupada explains about the conceive of the babies, twins, how they are conceived, how they are born. The first conceived lays in the womb behind. The later is stays in front. So the firstborn is actually the brother, is the smaller. The second born is considered the bigger one. That's how Prabhupada explains the signs of twin brothers taking birth. But in general, in society, one who borns first, when even if the birth of twins, generally here we consider one who is born first is considered like elder. But in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam, in terms of science of Ayurveda, the second birth, the born who is second, the boy or anyone who is taking born second is considered the elder. That is the main from Bhagavatam point of view. Text 19. Chakre Hiranyakashipur Dorbhyam Brahmavarena cha Vashe sa palas lokam strin akuto mrityuruddataha.
Translation: The elder child Hiranyakashipu was unafraid of death from anyone within the three worlds because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to his benediction and was able to bring all three planetary systems under his control.
Read
Purpose.
the green portion again.
Actually, it is impossible even for the Lord Brahma to give anyone the benediction of becoming immortal. But indirectly, Hiranyakashipu received the benediction that no one within this material world would be able to kill him. In other words,
Prabhupada explaining about how Hiranyakashipu did tapasya and how he was getting benedictions from Brahma himself. But it's not possible to get a immortal benediction. That it's not possible at all. Yeah, continue.
in other words, because he originally came from the abode of Vaikuntha, he was not to be killed by anyone within this material world.
Last portion.
It was the Lord's plan to teach people that even Hiranyakashipu, who was so powerful and strongly built, could not live more than his destined duration of life. One may become as strong and puffed up as Hiranyakashipu and bring under his control all the three worlds. But there is no possibility of continuing life eternally or keeping the conquered booty forever. So many emperors have ascended to power and they are now lost in oblivion. That is the history of the world.
So Prabhupada brings out so wonderful points that how much power we may have, how much control we may have, whatever by that power and control we may have accumulated wealth, etc. Kamala dala jala jivana talamala vajahu haripadani tire. So everything will be taken away, oblivion, now lost in oblivion at all. That is the history of the world. So that's how Prabhupada mentioning about this. Of course, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu is mentioning, but still, how these two are gaining power more and more and are trying to influence the whole world is explained. And the next section we'll see tomorrow, that how Hiranyaksha especially is conquering the directions and he is going to visit Varuna to challenge for fighting. So basically these two chapters are a little simpler in the sense of content wise also. They are growing, they are influencing whole world, and then the fight between Lord Varaha and Hiranyaksha is explained in the later two chapters. Okay, we pause here. Yes, Mother, you have a question? Others can carry on if you have services and wants to leave, you can carry on. Yes, Mother, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam. Prabhuji, actually, I have a confusion. प्रभुजी इट्स लाइक जैसे जो हिरण्यकशिपु एंड हिरण्याक्ष थे वो जय विजय थे, तो प्रभुजी दे वर डिवोटीज, और जब वो डिसेंड हुए तो मतलब जो अर्थ थी वो बहुत ज्यादा मतलब नेचुरल डिस्टर्बेंसेस तीनों उसमें आने लग गए, तो वो इतने ज्यादा सिंफुल कैसे हो गए? मतलब वो तो डिवोटीज थे और वो सारे 4 प्रिंसिपल्स भी ब्रेक करने लग गए। और
Yeah, that's the arrangement of the Lord, especially when that also we can see from the point of view of the act done by the Diti and the Kashyapa. The influences can be seen from that point of view of how is affected the whole world. Outside some disturbance is there. Are you able to hear? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
yes, Prabhuji, you can hear me.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So yeah, we can see that it's on one point of view, that's the arrangement of the Lord, how that situation came around, how these two personalities, though they are great devotees in the sense of they are dear to the Lord. We have seen that exchanges and all, but when they come in contact with material nature, especially the influence of the mother, Diti, and the situation that happened around, the influence is spoken here. How they are so terrible in terms of affecting the whole universe itself. So your question will be that how, though they are so pure devotees, how they are affecting the whole universe? Is it like that?
Yes, Prabhuji, I mean, how they became so much sinful.
Yeah, the effect because of is shown in terms of how they came in contact with the material nature. Of course, we say that it's all plan of the Lord, how they have to be grown up, how they have to be brought up. Effects are shown here, but we understand that of course that rasa, in order to give them, they can be acting in that way as a Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. But terrorizing is we need to understand it's all arrangement of the Lord from Brahmaji's point of view and from the natural course of events that are happening in the universe. Yeah. So in that sense, there are some announcements are there, I think. Okay. You can make the announcement and then we can answer the questions.
Yeah, Prabhuji, the announcement is only that CBA exam will be on 5th October. Next weekend. Yeah.
Okay. Basically, when dates you can mention.
Yes, Guruji. We'll send on message.
Yeah, then you can send on the map. Okay. Yeah, that's the understanding that I have. Understanding that because it's Lord's plan, and it's the way of how the situations arose in that particular situation of the planet. And also we can see the effect of Kashyapa. Kashyapa explained to her how because of your wrong act, the whole world is going to suffer. Because of these two demons, we are going to take birth. So this is the effect of demonic effect is explained, is shown here how the tendency of the demonic mentality, how it can affect everyone, all the universes. That we can understand from this incident, how we can cause. But these are all under the actions of the Brahmaji's creation, under the actions of Supreme Lord Himself. But the devotees' point of view, they definitely are devotees. But the consciousness is now covered over, so much so that they are affecting the whole universe by their power. In that way, we can understand. That's how they are affecting the whole universe. And they are doing so many atrocities. They are affecting the people, personalities, places. That is the effect of Mahataparad. This is another aspect we can understand. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita that when we do Mahataparad, not only affects oneself, it influences the whole society itself. This principally explains in the offense done by Ramachandra Khan to Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, both. When Haridas Thakur was what to say, he was blasphemed, or he was trying to Ramchandra Khan was trying to pull down Haridas Thakur. He was criticizing, and he was trying to blaspheme him in various ways. So for that is considered like a seed of the offense to him. And later the seed is fructified when Nityananda Prabhu came. He offended him also, Nityananda Prabhu, right, by sending him away, by chastising him, etc. And later on, all things happened to his family and the whole village. So there, Krishna Consciousness explains, this is the nature of offense. When you offend a Mahaprad, that not only affects you, but affects whole village, whole society itself. So we need to be extremely careful. So in that sense, we can just understand that how it's very, very, very destructive for whole society itself. So in that way, we can understand. So though it was an offense to the Jay and Vijay by four Kumaras, or rather, sorry, the four Jay and Vijay offended the Kumaras. Though it's a plan of the Lord, but it is to also kind of an explanation. We need to be extremely careful that how it affects the others also. That's my understanding a little bit. But yeah, they are definitely devotees. They went back to the spiritual world. Later on, again were sent back, gone back to their original position of serving the Lord. But their influence, this is, we have seen in the two ways. One is how it is from Kashyapa's and Diti's point of view, how the influence is brought because of the mistaken act at wrong time, though Kashyapa warned Diti that it's not at all a right time to conceive with children. So that the influence of Lord Shiva is, we can see that that's how the whole effect came in with the picture. And that's how the whole society is affected. And from another point of view also, we can see that Mahadaparat has not only affects one, but also the society. In these two ways, I understand the whole situation. Hare Krishna. Hope it's making some sense. Any further thing on that?
Prabhuji, like nowadays we see that many demonic peoples are uh, getting birth.
Yeah.
So natural disturbances are increasing. तो प्रभु जी ये मतलब सिर्फ बर्थ, अभी तो बर्थ लिया ही है, मतलब अभी कोई एक्टिविटी तो स्टार्ट करी नहीं है, फिर भी मतलब सबको नेचुरल डिस्टर्बेंसेस लेनी पड़ जाती है.
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhupada, that's what explaining. So we need to at least give knowledge to people in general. That's Prabhupada's whole society is to purify the whole culture. At least starting with the chanting the holy names and giving them a knowledge about every aspect. At least starting with 4 regulative principles and trying to maintain our spiritual life, practicing them, chanting holy names. At various levels, we can try to educate the society. And it's an whatever capacity that we have, we try to. But at least we need to be careful about it's not influencing us as a devotees. Yeah, when we talk about 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when it's talking about Ashwatha tree, we cannot cut down the tree of whole material existence itself, but we can cut the bondage of ourselves to the material existence. Similarly, we can definitely not be, we can make ourselves immune to the effects of Kali Yuga, and we also help others to be immune to all this materialistic culture, because that will go on, because the nature of Kali Yuga itself is like that. Right now, we cannot stop the Kali Yuga. And because it's a Lord's plan, the Kali Yuga has to go on. The Lord Himself is that cycle of Kali Yuga, 4 cycles of yugas, cycle will go on because it's Lord's plan. It's a cycle. But what is in our power, we need to do it. That is, I can definitely, immune to the influence of Kali Yuga. At the same time, we can definitely help others to be immune for the Kali Yuga's materialistic way of wrong culture. So in that sense, we will be protected and we can help others to come to a safe situation. And they also can go back home, back to Godhead by practicing seriously in that way. Hope it's okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Brother Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna and pranam. We'll pause here.